Good morning. My name is Ricky Porter, and I'm the pastor here at Washington Street Presbyterian Church. And we wanted to have somewhat of a formal program that will precede our devotional program that will be led by Brother Wilson Washington. We also wanted to mention that because it's Memorial Day weekend, the proceedings this morning will be taped and will be presented on TV 35 on a segment of a program that I do for them that's called At Home in Dublin with Ricky Porter. We invited Professor Jamal Touré, and Chris will introduce him later, but he's on his way from Riceboro. He's the founder of Day Clean Journeys in Riceboro, Georgia. He performs at the Geechee Kunda Cultural Center in Riceboro, Georgia. And he's also a professor at Savannah State University in Black History. We're waiting on Professor Jamal to come forward, but before he does, I want to ask Doug Wolf to come forward and say a little bit about the Dublin Lawrence Christian Men's Association and our community involvement with Dublin Rising.
My name is Doug Wolf, and I'm a treasurer for a small nonprofit that concentrates its efforts over on Rose Street and Cherry Street. What we're basically doing is we're trying to do social and economic development. We own homes over there, and we know a lot of the residents, and we work in that area to try to make change, a little bit at a time. And we work with the Dublin Lawrence Christian Men's Association. They've helped us to fund a couple of projects we've done over there. And so we have sort of a close relationship. We also had a relationship with ACMA at one time, Chris Johnson's organization. We sort of grew up out of that organization at one time. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you that, and also that our latest project over there, we built a little park. We actually made a little park out of some old vacant lots that we purchased and put together into a little, about a half-acre area. And in that park, we have a pavilion and some equipment for children to play on. And we started having a feeding ministry there now. In fact, there's one this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Every second Sunday at 3 o'clock, we feed anyone who's hungry, and do that for about an hour and a half. And there's a little bit of a devotional that's related to it. And then on the alternate Saturday nights, we started a movie in the park, and we had a movie weekend, it'd be 3 weekends ago now. Last weekend we got rained out, but those two things have started to go on in the neighborhood, mainly intended to just try to give the residents and the children. These movies are children's movies, by the way. Movies that, and things they can do in the neighborhood.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Of course, my name is Christopher Johnson. They call me Coach Johnson. I'm the founder of Oconee Community Mentoring Association, which actually started from this organization. The men in this organization helped me get started with this youth mentoring service back in 2008. The great pastor, Reverend Ricky Porter, made a commitment to help in our outreach to try to increase parental involvement in our children's education. At that point, we were a PTA. And from that collaboration with the Reverend Ricky Porter and the Washington Street Presbyterian Church, and this breakfast, the Oconee Community Mentoring Association started back in 2008. And since then, we've been able to do a lot of different things with our youth in the community, academically, sports, community service. These kids are ambassadors for what could be accomplished with our young people once we invest their time and resources. They can do great things. There's a long list of things that they have accomplished. I just had the pleasure of being present at the graduation of some of those young men that started here in this room right here when they were the age of 12 and 13 years old, and working with us and helping them with their youth development. And they graduated last Friday. I had 4 kids to graduate, my son and 3 of the kids that started right here. So I'm very proud of that feat. One of them have the potential of going to college at Fort Valley State University. Also, we are preparing, this event today is a kickoff to our recognition of Juneteenth, which is the official last day of slavery in this country. But in doing so, we want to recognize not just that, but we're calling it the Days of Independence, and we want to host a series of events to recognize this holiday. Professor Jamal Chapay is going to be here to give us some historical backdrop on Juneteenth and how it's significant to this area. But also I want to recognize some of the other things that ACMA has been involved with in the community to recognize and to prepare for this holiday in June, and some of the series of events that we will be involved in June in recognition of Juneteenth. I want to give recognition to the youth that are here today, the ACMA kids, and they are part of the ACMA Dream Team, the ACMA Dream Team. Let me get a hoo-yah. These kids, along with myself, are going to be taking on a challenge, bike ride across Georgia, which is going to start on June the 4th. We're going to ride bicycles from Atlanta to Savannah. And it's going to be a 5-day ride over 400 miles on our bicycle. We're going to be camping out every night. It's going to be a great adventure. I think the youngest of them is just 11 years old, a young girl, and we have alumni members. She's 10 years old. Then we have alumni members that has done it in the past, not only ride across the state of Georgia, but one of the young men that was responsible for us meeting Professor Chapay did the Gullah Geechee Corridor ride last summer. The ACMA Dream Team rode bicycles from North Carolina down to Savannah. And on that trail, we came through Riceboro. We had the opportunity of meeting Professor Chapay. And from that meeting, we continued to collaborate. And so we've done several other events together. And so we look forward to this evening's conversation, discussion with him, and also future events. And so without further ado, I want to introduce to you Professor Jamal Chapay. He is the founder of Day Clean Journeys. He also performs along with several other performers that he'll give you more information about in the Geechee Cultural Center in Riceboro, Georgia. If you have not been there, plan on visiting there this summer. And he also is a professor at Savannah State University. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Jamal Chapay.
When my husband experienced chest pain, I knew he had to go to the ER at Fairview Park Hospital because it had an accredited chest pain center. Chest pain isn't like a broken arm or a high fever. They treat chest pain like the serious condition it is, and they treat it fast. And it was a good thing we knew the difference because my husband was in cardiac arrest.
Oh, I was fine.
Now he is.
Treat chest pain like chest pain. Choose the ER at Fairview Park Hospital.
I'm going to say good morning to you all. And so with the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, we give thanks and praises to God Almighty for us to be here today with you. And actually what happened, I left from Savannah to come up here, then to go back to Savannah. Because today is Memorial Day weekend, and we have our own tour company, Day Clean Journeys. And so we have a number of people who are in the area right now in Beaufort, South Carolina, and Savannah because of the Gullah Festival, which is the largest festival for African American culture in that area. And so a lot of folks are in town, and so I'll be doing some tours for them. They're coming down from Beaufort over to Savannah. So, but I told them, told Pastor and also Chris, we're going to make sure we come up here. We're going to work it out because we feel it's important. because of the relationship that we have at Gichikunda with regards to the organization here in Lawrence County. We got much love, and that's what we do. You probably do not realize, or some of you may realize, the impact that you're having, not just here in Lawrence County, not just in Dublin, but it's far-reaching. And we talk about the experience, we talk about our history and our culture. Again, I always tell folks it's about planting seeds. That is, it's crucial for us to plant seeds. And I'm looking at the men that's inside here and also the ladies. You all are planting seeds that are having a residual impact far away from here. One of the reasons why I wanted to make sure I came here is because of someone who is carrying on the legacy of you all here in Dublin, in Lawrence County, even away from here. And even when I'm at Savannah State, at times I've been sitting down and I look at him and I'm like amazed and stunned. And even at times I told him, I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous of you. I don't like you because you got so much flavor, so much style, and so much greatness. And that young man name is Enal Te Ayuk from Dublin, Georgia. Yeah, you need to give him a round of applause. He's from right here. He was vice president of Savannah State Student Government Association. And when he first came to Savannah State, I used to look at him. He had on his suits. He had his tie. He had on his boutonniere. I said, I don't like you. Because he was walking around. Now, and I was going to throw this out there to you. You had other people walking around the campus who had their pants below their behinds. You saw their underwear. But here comes this young man with his briefcase walking across the campus, and I'm looking at him like, wait a minute, who are you? And then students in my class, just like when I said something about being relaxed, that's why we keep it real like that. In my class, that's why they don't go and say Professor Touré, Dr. Touré. They say Jamal. And so when I'm around the campus, they see me, and when there's some issues or they need something to inspire them, they'll come to me and say, we have conversations after the class setting. And so what will happen, this young man walk up with his briefcase and with his suit. I'm like, who are you? Where you from? He said, I'm from Dublin. And you saw I just did it. He did it. I'm from Dublin. He said it with pride, and that other people didn't look at that. And I was like, wow. I just sit there like, I hate you. I said, I'm so jealous of you right now. You stealing my style. And we would laugh about that. And then when it came down to about student activism on that campus, and let me back up. One thing I tell the students in my classes, I said that this is your community. And because this is your community, you make sure that your community is the best community that it can be. And that you play a role with regards to making sure that it's the best community. And also, the other thing we do too, we look out for each other. And guess what? That young man, when I say student activism, Tay, that's why I call him Tay. Tay was right there in the midst with other students who were in my classes. And I always go back and I say, they were in my class. When I see things happening on the campus that are progressive and positive, I'm always happy because I'm going to say, they were in my class. That we've had some connection. We planted a seed within them that they've now allowed to sprout, to grow. And so then Tay later on came into the classes with me. It's the same thing. When I could call upon people that I said, well, let me share this with you. I always tell people this. I want you to be able to think. I am not so concerned about you knowing the history per se, but I want you to be able to think, to analyze and assess. And what happens so often for many of us is that what we get caught up into, we don't realize that the things that we see happening today happened back in the past also. They just changed the color on it. They just changed the bow tie on it. But it's the same thing. But if you're able to assess, you're able to analyze, you're able to now look at it squarely and resolve issues and matters and also bring about prominence for everyone. And so when I'm in the classes and I'm in my class and I throw some stuff out there, he's one of the people that I can count on that's going to articulate something that then is going to give some people some insight. And why I think that's important, because what's going on, you have people sitting in the classes who are 18 years old, 19 years old, 20, 21, 22. And so when they see one of their peers now throwing out some insight, and I'm applauding them with regard to that, guess what? That gives them some confidence to understand that they too could be the same thing. And that's why I look at T and I go and say with pride that That's why I had to make sure I had to come up here. Because I go and say that I know that Tay didn't do it on it by himself. It was you all. It was his community. It was that you are the ones that helped plant the seed, that helped nurture that seed to now grow, that now when he's away from here, he represents Lorraine County and Dublin High School and Dublin, the city of Dublin, East Dublin, all of that excellently. That he's one of the people, one of the stars on the campus, one of the scholars, not only as I'm saying student activism, but he has the GPA. And that's why I'm going to say with pride that I'm going to look at him and I look at him, I smile, I say, yes. Also in competitions, on academic competitions, he's right there in the midst. So why did I throw that out there? Again, to emphasize this point. He did not do it by himself, because there's a point that I share also with my students and even with anyone when I'm doing presentations. I said that your greatness is never achieved by yourself. Your greatness is never achieved by yourself. That others play a role with regard to you achieving your greatness. Sometimes our egos tell us that it's all me. No, it's not. It's that person who was sitting on the corner. Who told you, like, you can do it? It was that person in the grocery store who said, what are you doing right now? I'm proud of you. It's that person in your family sitting at the table with you asking, what do you want to do? Or say, let me share this with you right here. That person played a role with regard to you achieving your greatness. And so often we are so caught up into ourselves that we miss the larger picture and understand that we must all look out for one another. So that's why I say, again, I had to come here and pay homage, and especially when I'm about to go to any other place, and I know I got people who have been in the classrooms with me, or I know on the campus at Savannah State. I got to make sure to let the people know in their hometowns they are representing for you well. And that's an honor with regard to the work. That's why I said, when you were saying what you were saying, I was like, you got a legacy that's happening at Savannah State in Savannah, Georgia right now. Oh, I said, Savannah? Guess what? He's traveled nationally also. So it's not just here in Georgia. People outside of here recognizing him with regard to his skill sets, and he is delivering the skill sets, and I said that is so important. And again, that's a homage, I said, that's an homage, if you're going to say, homage to you, the men and the women right here in this communities. And it's crucial that you continue to do that.
All right, thank you for coming. I'll be back shortly.
Dad, I'm losing my house. What should I do?
Son, your mother and I were there, and Lumen Earl filed a Chapter 13 for us. He even set up a payment plan we could afford. He saved our home, and he kept my check from garnishment. Give Lumen a call. I'm sure he could help you too.
Lumen Earl, solving people's financial problems for over 30 years. Call today for free consultation.
It is fitting that we're in a church setting. We're in a setting, so that's why I'm going to have to throw some proverbs out to you. Give you some proverbs. First proverb is this, and we're going to discuss it. First proverb is this. The tree remembers, but the axe forgets. One proverb. Another proverb is this. When the axe comes into the forest, the trees say, look, one of us. Last proverb is this. The hunter will always be the hero of the story until the lion has a historian. Until that time, the lion will never be the hero. The trees remember, but the axe forgets. Because what is the axe? What is the body of the axe? Wood, just like a tree. But it's now been shaped and been fashioned into something else. It's been taken away from its roots. The roots have been cut off, and so now it's been shaped and been fashioned, and something else has been put in the head of that piece of wood, a piece of metal. Something that's not natural to it, but it's now placed on it. And guess what happens? When the axe now goes into the wood, it becomes an instrument of destruction. Guess what? Many of our young people, our older people, our middle-aged people have basically become that. We have been shaped and been fashioned into something that's not really us. Our roots have been cut off. And so something else has been placed on the head of us that now causes us to become destructive amongst each other to our communities. We must change that dynamics. That we must have the trees, that are those young trees, those strapling trees that are now rooted in the soil, that now when they begin to bloom, they're now able to plant other seeds. They're able to drop the seeds. They're able to drop the acorns that will now go into the soil that will grow and spring up other trees. We cannot have the ones that now come into communities and that are destructive to us, destroying us. And what the sad part is that they are part of it. They are the same piece of wood. That tree right there is wood. The axe handle is wood. But guess what? It's not been changed into something else. We must now get rid of the axe handles, because, I should say the axe heads that are destructive. We must get rid of that mindset, that mentality. We must have people understanding that they must have a love for self, and when they have a love for self, then they have a love for anyone else. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. You don't have a concern about anyone else. You now have a misguided view, and that's why, again, that axe head is now misguided, shaped into something else to cause destruction. So many of us have that misguided head now. So we don't embrace each other. We don't show the love to each other. And I tell people this. I say, when you love yourself and love people who look like you, you can love anyone else. And that's what a lot of us are missing. We're missing that love and that guidance. We're missing the foundation. We're missing the roots because it's been taken away from us. And that's why when we look at people, and I throw this out there to folks, you cannot blame and look at young people and say they're the problem. You have to turn the mirror on yourself and look at yourself and say, what have I done for them? So often, some of us have not done anything. We have not whispered any word of greatness to any young person around us. We haven't whispered a word of greatness to somebody who works with us or somebody who's preceded us, that is somebody older than us. We don't whisper any words of greatness to anyone around us. And guess what? I tell you, when you do that, I share this with people. I say, do one good thing each day of your life to somebody that you don't know. That's planting a seed. And when you go and do that, when you go say a word, or whisper a good deed to somebody, do a good deed to someone, or whisper a good deed to somebody in their ears about them, guess what's going to happen? That's going to hit some of them, because that's what some of them need. That some of us need to hear something good about ourselves, about something, we have some type of help. So what then happens, that person possibly then spread that along. And guess what happened? You have more of us around here that are about doing goodness. So many of us are lost. We are like leaves in the wind, going all over the place. We're not rooted. And I let folks understand that the young people who are around us are not necessarily being guided like they should be guided. And you can't blame them, because no one has called and told them anything about their greatness in themselves and the people around them and where they come from. If you do not understand the greatness about yourself, then other people can come in and tell you some other story that is false. And what has happened for many people, that they've been given a false image of who they are, a false reality. That people are taking away from them their greatness to tell them that you can do it. You have the ability to do it. That I know this person right here who lived right here in Dublin, Georgia, a man who went to Savannah State University, or Georgia State Industrial College, and his name was Benjamin Judson Simmons. That he was right here in Lawrence County and then went to Savannah State, and he was told that you can achieve it. You can achieve, you can fulfill your destiny and your dream. That he had a dream that, he graduated from Savannah State. And guess what happened? He came back to Dublin to teach in the school system. But guess what happened? He also had another desire, and that was go into the medical profession. And he would become the first African-American from Lawrence County, Dublin, Georgia, to become a doctor right here. And again, he went to Savannah State for one purpose. Again, he became a teacher. He was educated, but then still had the desire to now become a medical practitioner. And he did that because he allowed other people to put in his head the greatness that was within him, that it could be achieved. So he goes on to Meharry. So again, that's why I tell you, that's what you got to be about. You must throw it out there and let them understand that. And that we so often criticize other people, not understanding that what have you done with regard to help them to go soaring. If you're not doing that, then you're a part of the weight that's holding them down. And then when they act the way that they do, it's because of you. Not all on them. It's because of you. Because when you not throw it out there about their greatness, then they have a different mindset. And then that's why we get to the proverb that I threw out about with regards to the hunter always being the hero of the story. What's going on with that is this. And that's when many students are going to realize, they say, oh, wait a minute, that's us. Because for so often, they have not heard great things about themselves from their own viewpoint. Other people have told them the stories. And sometimes when other people tell you the story, they will not tell you your greatness. They will limit you with regard to what you can achieve and what you can be. When you write the story yourself, you're going to talk about the greatness amongst yourselves. You're going to talk about what you can achieve and what you know you want and what you desire. But when other people write the story, it's somewhat limited. And that's what's happened for many of us. We've been given a limited view about what we want to accomplish. And I throw Dr. Justin Simmons out there. Why? Because, again, here go one person. He decided to go to college, and he gets his degree, and he teaches. Some people say, that's enough for you right there. But he had another desire in him to say, no, I want to go into medical school. If you left it up to some other people, they say, you should be sufficient with where you are right now. Don't have a desire for something else. And often people try to kill the dreams of other people. They may say, I want to be a businessman. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. People say, you can't do all of that. You now like the axe now cutting down a part of that young tree. Because now they have a desire to achieve and to go higher, and you have some people around them now cutting them down right there before they even get started. Tell them that they must be limited. No, you don't limit anyone. You let them soar. Because guess what? There were geniuses in this world that were architects. Oh, and in fact, throw this out there. Tay pledged an organization called Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And his line name is Imhotep. And when I found out that he chose Imhotep as his name, I laughed. I said, he was listening. Because let me tell you who Imhotep is. Imhotep is the first known multi-talented genius in the world. And I teach them that in my class. Imhotep was an architect, a philosopher, an engineer, a scientist, political advisor, writer, and doctor. That's what he was. And so when I heard when Tay said that, but that's who he was, I was like, okay. I was like, he got it. He got it. Because I said, he now understands a part of the element that he should never let anything relegate him to being just one little thing. He can be several things, and that's what so many of our young people do not get. You know, I say young people, but that's what so many of us don't get. That even when we're older and younger, we don't get that. People always tell us, you need to just do that right there. No. You have the ability to do more than one thing because that's why God put you here. God didn't put you here just to do one thing. God has given you a divine purpose to be here to achieve. And guess what? When you now write your story, you write your story to not throw that out there to everyone. And so often I remember people that I would be on the basketball courts in Savannah playing basketball, and then I would see this one man sitting out on the basketball courts, and I tried to figure it out. He had about 8 books. He was an African-American man with 8 books. And I'm looking at him like, why he got so many books? I'm trying to figure out, like, he got 8 books, but he's sitting on the basketball court with us. And I was like, wow. And I said to myself, that's kind of cool. You playing basketball with us, but then you got the books right here. And I said, wow, I said, this is kind of cool. So guess what that did? That generated a thought in my mind that I can do all the athletic stuff, but I can also get the intellectual stuff too. Because if I left it up to some people, they say, we need to just focus on athletics and not be concerned about the academics. And so that's what happened. I tell folks, I said, that was something that generated a seed in my mind to let it sprout. So that's that made me go not just to Savannah State University, but then to go to Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. So see, I know Middle Georgia, so I got love for Middle Georgia also. Because again, and I would come through Dublin often when I'm coming back from Savannah or from Macon, going back either way, and seeing what we need to achieve with regards to our people. And I tell people, I say, our people are the people who need you. It's anyone who is in need. And that the ones who are most desperate, you got to go out there and serve them because that's why God put you here. God put you here not just for yourself, but it's to help other people achieve their greatness. And I see Pastor got up, and I know it's time for me, which I thought I was going to go longer, but that's all right. So I'm going to be obedient because I don't want no issue with him because he's going to try to talk about me. You know, later on, Chris, you know, Jamal's running his mouth. But I say this to you all. It is important and it is crucial for us today to play a role with God to the lives of other people. The young people sitting inside here are not just as people like to say, the future leaders. They are the leaders of today. And I'm going to show you why I say that, because in Savannah, Georgia, right now, we know Savannah is a city of history. People talk about the history in Savannah all the time. But for 6 years, we've had a youth leadership group that we've done tours with in Savannah. And what occurred 4 years ago, the kids started saying, why are cars parking in a particular area? The kids said, this should be a place of respect and reverence. And so what happened? 4 14-year-old black male teens went before the City Council of Savannah, and what they shared with the City Council made the City of Savannah now go do archaeological work on the site. And today there are plaques that are up there right now tied to what the young people did. It was not their parents, it was not their grandparents, it was the young people. The seed had been planted in them, and they took it to another level. And that's why I tell them, I said that you are not the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today. We have to let them understand that. So that way, no matter where they go from here, they carry themselves as leaders. And that's why what you did in Dublin, Georgia, years ago, we now get the benefit at Savannah State right now with Tay. That's why he walked on that campus and he was doing that. I said, wow. And I said, he got a foundation. And it came from you all. And that's why I said, you all have to applaud yourselves with regard to that and carry that on and continue it with the next generations so that they will now bring about a better world. Good people will change this world so it'll be about goodness. We say thank you, peace, and blessings.